Hello. So I'm gonna say this, even though it's obnoxious. We're all so cute in that intro video. Like I was just like watching it for the first time in a while, and I'm like, gosh, we're so cute.
I always blur my eyes so I don't look at it, but
Well, we're all lovely.
I'll take a look next
I
time.
like it.
All right. Well, now that we got that out of the way, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to Reference Roundtable. These are kind of like my new favorite episodes, the book club episodes where we all read a book and talk about it. I don't know. I've never been in a book club before. I don't know if that's weird or not. So this is like, I like it. Maybe I need to join another one.
I like it too. I think it's fun.
Well, I know when you could join.
It's during my work hours, so it's kind of a problem.
Yep.
All right. So, of course, before we get started, we should probably introduce ourselves. I'm Lacey, and with me are the lovely Sarah and Michael. And we all are librarians here at the Sioux City Public Library, and this is what we do. We show up on Thursday afternoons, and we talk about books and stuff. So, as I kind of said, this is our book club episode. Oh, and we already have a hello.
We got a hello from Colorado from Rosemary.
Ooh, I love
Hi,
Colorado.
Rosemary.
Hello back to you.
That sounds really pleasant right now.
Lovely right now, yeah.
All right. So this week we are doing our book club. So we once a month all read the same book and we talk about it. It's usually towards the end of the month, but September's a really long month, so that's why we're doing it on the 4th week, not the 5th week.
Oh.
She evaporated.
We've lost Lacey.
Well, we can kind of, I mean, the funny part of all of that is this month was Lacey's pick. So the book we're going to discuss.
She's back.
I don't know what happened there, so sorry.
We're already off to an exciting start.
Well, I wanted to keep it exciting. It was a thriller that we read, so maybe I wanted to bring a little bit of an edge to Reference Roundtable today. Okay, anyway, it was my pick this month, and we all read the book The Guide by Peter Heller. And as I kind of mentioned, I've heard it called a wilderness thriller, which I think is very appropriate once you read the book. And I think before we dive in and start talking about it, I should read a quick summary, just so if people haven't read the book, they kind of have an idea of what the heck we're talking about. So here we go. So Kingfisher Lodge, nestled in a canyon on 1.5 miles of the most pristine river water on the planet, is known by locals as Billionaire's Mile and is locked behind a heavy gate. Sandwiched between barbed wire and a meadow with a sign that reads, "Don't get shot," the resort boasts boutique fishing at its finest. Safe from viruses that have plagued America for years, Kingfisher offers a respite for wealthy clients. Now it also promises a second chance for Jack, a return to normalcy after a young life filled with loss. When he is assigned to guide a well-known singer, his only job is to rig her line, carry her gear, and steer her to the best trout he can find. But then a human scream pierces the night, and Jack soon realizes that this idyllic fishing lodge may be merely a cover for a far more sinister operation. So you can get a little feel for it. All is not well in Billionaire's Mile.
No.
So yeah, we'll just dive right in. It is very much a wilderness thriller. I would say one of the main characters in.
Oh no.
I think she was going to say something like one of the main characters was the wilderness, which I think it's super appropriate that we have somebody watching from Colorado today because the book is about Colorado wilderness. Am I right?
That's what I was thinking too.
Yes.
It was a perfect setting to get us started.
Yeah. So,
were you gonna say that one of the main characters was?
I have no idea what's going on. My camera has never given me problems before, so I have no idea. But
I don't know. It keeps saying this device is not connected, like when you go away. So I don't.
Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, it's like I feel like especially like the first like 2/3 of the book. I mean, Heller spends so much time talking about what the scenery looks like, what the trees look like, what the trout look like. I mean, you get like vivid descriptions of like a single like brown trout. I mean, he really like describes it. And I'm kind of one of those people. I love going outside. I love being in the wilderness. I love going for hikes, but I don't necessarily read like wilderness books, if that makes sense. So this was kind of a new one for me, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it could have been annoying, and but it wasn't. Like the detail that he goes into, like I was made it really picturesque. Like it was pretty. This is the word I kept thinking. It was like it felt like I was there, and I felt like I was in the wilderness, even though I was reading a book inside.
It makes you want to go outside. That's what it did. Like I was like, I want to go for a hike now.
Yeah, it did.
Well, I'm really not an outdoorsy person, like at all.
Me either.
So I appreciated the descriptions because it was like I could be there without having to be outdoors.
So that's also a fair point. You can enjoy the outdoors without actually having to like get dirty.
It kind of felt like the pace of going fishing, just kind of like relaxed. I don't know.
That's a good way to describe it.
Strange for a thriller, though, right? Like,
yeah, it felt like that, like maybe at maybe chapter 1, but then it very quickly got like a creepy vibe, like something isn't right here, like almost immediately. I feel like
there was a slow build. I felt like the last like 20% was like bonkers. But before that, I felt like it was a really slow build. Like there was like little like drops of like, here, something's going on, maybe. Here's a little bit more. It was very like he was feeding you very little pieces.
It reminded me of The Shining. Like if it were a horror movie, it'd be a horror movie like The Shining, not like Friday the 13th.
Right.
Like it's very like atmospheric, slow burning. Just like little, like you said, little nuggets of unsettling things happening here and there. And then suddenly at the end, boom, it explodes.
Just like Lacey. Just
right.
Well,
sorry, friends.
I think it's adding to it. We just keep like disappearing and popping back in. It's very
what did you all what did you all think of the Allison character? That's the singer, right? Her name was Allison, that he's paired with.
I was wondering, like, who did you guys picture her as, like, in real life?
I pictured her as Shania Twain.
Really?
Yeah.
See, go ahead, Sarah.
I kept thinking of Kelly Clarkson. I don't know why.
You know what's
funny? Know where it came from.
We all had, I like Carrie Underwood is who I thought. I like that we all had our own like country singer in mind.
Yeah.
She was definitely like a bluesy country singer though, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it was country singer vibes.
That's funny.
Because she lives in North Carolina.
We did get another comment from Rosemary. She said she needs to read this because The Shining is one.
Oh, I do think you would really enjoy it then. I really do. It gets so creepy that at the end I was trying to finish it in bed before I fell asleep, and I had to put it aside and switch to a different book because I was like, I'm gonna get nightmares. It just got so creepy at the end. I was like, it was intense.
I was kind of the same. I had to finish it. Like once I got to the climax where it was like all going on, I was like, I gotta finish this. I can't stop. I gotta read through to the end.
It reminded me of The Village. Have you guys ever seen The Village?
Yes.
Oh,
that
kind of reminded me. Yeah, it was like something isn't right here.
It could totally be one of his movies.
Yeah, yeah, that's the kind of vibes I got. It was just like something's wrong here.
And I thought he did a good job too, the author. There was a few characters. I mean, there was a few characters you knew were like bad. You were like, this is just a bad dude. But there was a few characters that I was kind of like going back and forth on. I'm like, are you gonna like turn around to be, you know, like a double agent sort of thing, and you're gonna be bad but you seem good? So there was a few like that I was kind of kept me on the edge of my seat.
It was unpredictable, which I think can be sometimes rare for a thriller because they get really formulaic. But I had no idea what was like going on in terms of the plot. Like I could follow the story, but I had no idea what was going on in terms of like what the bad thing was. Like I felt like I was realizing things alongside the characters, so it kept me like really in I feel like what I knew was the same as like what the main character knew. I was never like 2 steps ahead, if that makes sense, which maybe made it even more suspenseful for me.
We just got a comment from Bill. He said, I thought it read like a screenplay, especially the end.
Oh,
Absolutely.
totally.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, somebody's already has to be turning this into a movie, right? Like
Yeah.
that was what I thought. I was like, this seems like it's so ready for those like panning vista shots of the mountains and the creek.
I could see it being like a Hulu mini series. It seems very Hulu.
Maybe Kevin Costner's involved some way.
Yeah. I also, I don't know. I didn't know if what was going on was going to be some kind of like ooky spooky supernatural magic stuff, like, or if it was going to be grounded and like, or like something real, if that makes sense.
Like more straightforward.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to what the wilderness of it all and how like the wild can seem so supernatural.
Yeah.
And then like the part in the synopsis you're reading about the human scream, at first they're like, oh, it's an owl, because like snow owl or whatever kind of owl it was, when they make a noise, it sounds like a screaming person. And it's just like those little touches.
So do foxes too.
Yeah. So that I never really knew like what, like if this book was going to turn magic, all like if magic or something was going to come into play.
Yeah. What did you guys think about? So it's very much like in our world. They don't really say it's in our world, but it's definitely in a world very similar to ours. But there's like there's the virus. There's kind of that. It's weird because it doesn't play like a super giant part because they're kind of cordoned off in this fishing lodge. But there's always this kind of overhanging news of, oh, the virus is bad in this town, or people are getting sick. They don't call it COVID. I don't think it's. I think it's supposed to be something different, maybe it's similar, but it's not COVID.
But COVID happened in that world because they're like this is like years in the future, I think, because COVID's happened and then there was like new COVID, I think, and then this is like the thing after that.
I think it's still pretty close. Like I think it's within the next 5 years. I don't think it's like, super far. Yeah.
I feel like the author uses like the vocabulary and stuff that we've built over the last few years dealing with a pandemic really well.
Yeah.
It like he uses pandemic logic like really well, if that makes sense, to like aid with the story and add tension. At first when they started mentioning like it at the beginning, I was like, oh, is this gonna be just like shoehorned in there? But I think it served its purpose, especially towards the end.
And I don't feel like he beat you over the head with it.
No.
It wasn't every 5 minutes, virus this, virus that. It was very just kind of like
subtly,
like you said, not shoehorned. It was just kind of like placed a little bit here and there.
And then when it did play a role like that mattered, it really like it made sense, I guess.
We got a comment here from Dagna. She says she just downloaded it on Libby and it's not the usual type she reads, so she's not sure if she'll like it, especially when you compare it to The Shining. So I guess I'm putting my trust in
it. I wouldn't say it shares that much in common with The Shining. It doesn't have that like horror story.
Spooky,
it's. I was about to say it's not gory. It is a couple parts, but not really.
Not bad at all.
Not bad.
No,
it's not like. It's just like that spooky atmosphere of The Shining, where it's like. You almost like some kind of like string instruments playing in the background, like the D, like I don't know, like
it's more suspenseful than like graphic.
It's very like short, so that's a plus.
That's
like you're not gonna waste a bunch of time on it.
It reads so fast.
I listened to it and it was like less than I think 6, maybe almost 7 hours, but I do
that's
like
pretty short
double
for
speed, super quick.
I didn't actually know this until after I'd picked it and I started reading it. It's like a sequel, technically not a sequel, to another book that Peter Heller wrote called The River.
Yeah, which Bill just commented.
Oh, yeah.
We started talking about it. Yeah.
And one of the characters from The River is the main character in the guide. But from everything I've read about the book afterwards, it very much is not like, I wouldn't say you could maybe enjoy it more, but I don't think it like takes away from it. I don't think you won't enjoy this book if you've never read another Peter Heller book from everything I've seen. It stands on its own.
I wondered if the river's about, and I don't think, I mean, because right off the bat in this book, it talks about him like losing a friend and that whole experience. And I wonder if like that part of his past that it's alluding to is what the river's about.
I think so. I think so.
But it just seems like this book, the tone of it would be so different from that story. So I'm interested. Yeah, I wonder like how the tone of the two compare.
You'll have to read it.
I just might.
I might have to read it actually, because his backstory was pretty sad.
They really unraveled a lot of the characters, life during the book. You really found out a lot about him. I mean, not even just what happened in the river, but like his family and all that. So.
Yeah,
he packed a lot into a short book.
He really did.
Yeah, and for every like ugly moment, there was like 3 beautiful moments of like, I don't know, peace. It was weirdly peaceful, which made the parts that were scary even more scary to me. Like there's a lot of contrast in the story.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it definitely made me want to read more Peter Heller books. I know he's got a few more out there, so I was like, I'm gonna have to add those to my list.
So I feel like it's gonna be difficult to talk about in a spoiler-free way, but we can do our best. What did y'all think of the ending?
Bananas. I kind of said that earlier, but it just like I felt like it went from like 0 to 20 to 100. Like it didn't go from 0 to 100, but like pretty darn close. It really ramped up fast.
Yeah. We got a comment here from Bill. He said he loved the part where he falls in love with her by watching her fly fishing cast.
Right. There are sweet moments like that. And her character was one where I did not know how her story would turn out.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of the end as well. And
yeah, it's hard not to like talk about the end without giving it away. Because it's a thriller, like.
I feel like her character almost got like the Bond girl storyline, if that makes sense, like in a movie, the James Bond movie. And like I feel like Bond girls always go like one of 2 ways, right? And I didn't really know which way she was gonna go.
Sure, I get that.
Yeah, I can see that. The ending was just so like I felt like out of left field. Like I didn't see it coming, which just added to the uniqueness of the book. It was just crazy.
Yeah, when I got to the ending, I was like, "What?" And it doesn't like end until the last page either. Like
no,
like it goes right up until the end. You're like, what?
And then done. And then you kind of just fall off the cliff. You're like, oh, okay, well,
okay,
all right.
It almost feels like you're like, I don't know, you like black out at the end and then come to in the final couple pages.
That's another, I think, reason why I thought it would be so good as a movie, because it was very much like, end scene, fade to black. It was very much like, okay, now we've got the credits. We're done.
That's
Story's over. It was just very like, it was
cinematic. Definitely.
So get on that, Hollywood. You need to turn this into some sort of Hulu miniseries.
So I said I couldn't really guess what was happening, but did y'all guess what was going on? Or
no, not really. No. I mean, I had some inklings, but I mean, nothing really close to.
Not until it started all like kicking off. I guess it kind of, you're like, okay, then it kind of started making sense, but not until then. I'm like, like I said, I thought it was kind of like The Village. I'm like, something's wrong here, but I'm not really sure what. It's hard to explain.
It's so hard to explain without giving it away. But I feel like what's going on, like what ends up being the thing going on, is like grounded in our world enough to be. I felt like, I don't know, like the deep nitty-gritty of it probably is a little fantastical, but it still felt very plausible for our world.
Yeah. Like crazy, but not that crazy
Like,
kind of thing.
Yeah. So crazy it could just happen.
Yeah.
Which and then it throws all the characters into like question at the end too. Like I had to like re-examine all the different people I encountered through the book to like see where they fit in with it, because it does, I don't know, it's really focused on 2 characters, but like there is a broader cast of characters that each have a role to play.
Yeah, we've definitely focused on, a couple, but there are other ultra wealthy people at the lodge, who are vacationing. There's also, the workers that, that are the other guides, like, I can't talk, like our main character, because I've totally forgot his name. I don't know why.
Jack.
Yes.
Jack.
Oh, my brain. So there's definitely other supporting characters, not obviously getting to know as much about them, but there's a lot of other stuff kind of going around at the same time.
Yeah. I liked the cook's name was Shay, right? And I don't know, she was complex to me because I felt like she's like culpable, but also I don't know, it is so hard to talk about like what I actually think of these characters without giving away like why I have complex feelings about them, but I enjoyed her as a character.
I think we got another comment there. Rosemary has to head on out.
She's got to go. But she's going to be checking out the book soon. So.
Well, I hope you enjoy
Thanks
it,
for
Rosemary.
tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Enjoy Colorado and be safe out there,
No
because
kidding.
after reading this book, who knows what kind of perils you may encounter. Look out for cameras in the woods.
Yeah. Signs that say don't get shot.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, because right when he gets to the resort, that's like one of the first things that really creeped me out were the demarcation lines, and it was like,
and there's keypads to get into the resort. You have to have a code
to get out too, and they're like, oh, it's just because animals accidentally press the button, and they have like these little gaslighty excuses for everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, Rosemary said she saw a baby and a mama moose.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's really cool. I've always wanted to see a moose. I've never seen one.
Rocky Mountain National Park. They'll get about 2 feet away from you.
Oh, wow.
No, I don't want to see one that
like, no, that's too close.
Don't mama moose fight you when they have babies around them?
The one I see didn't have a baby, so
yeah,
it just stood there, just chewing on some grass, living life. So,
well, what an experience.
Well, do you guys have anything else to say? I don't want to wrap it up if you've got any more feelings.
I enjoyed it. I think it was a really good pick, and it was interesting.
I really liked it. It was one of our books from our summer reading list this year. So that's
why I wanted to read it. I saw it on the list, and I was like, that's cool.
So if you did summer reading, chances are you probably have already read it, but if you didn't do summer reading, we still have all the summer reading copies in the collection. So I think that's 10 copies of the guide are available for checkout. So you should be able to get your hands on it pretty easily. And as we were saying, it's a fast read. So why not?
We've got some more moose comments. Bill says he's leery of the moose since he read Hatchet. I read Hatchet, but I don't remember the moose part.
I also feel like Leery of the Moose could be a book title itself.
Oh, and Rosemary says they were in their truck.
Oh,
and they were, and it was Rocky Mountain.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
That is awesome. That's a place everyone should go to, I think, at least once. Definitely worth the trip.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad you guys had good feelings about it. Like, it wasn't like, a life-changing story or anything, but it was a lot of fun. And it's a really, it's a quick read. You could read this in a weekend, no problem.
Yeah.
It was really enjoyable. And I don't know. I always like a good thriller. So
Me too.
Yeah, me too. Especially when it's a little bit different. There's so many that are, you know, you
it
can
wasn't
guess
your
what's going
typical like
on.
crime,
Right.
you know, like
Exactly.
husband kills the wife sort of thriller.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a refreshing dynamic.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
liked. And even like there is like a romance aspect to it, but not in the way that felt usual to me. I don't know. Like it wasn't obnoxious and it wasn't like the main thing. And
Right.
it was like a nice like added seasoning, but it didn't like take over the narrative, which
It was very normal. You know, it was
was
like
very
it didn't feel like
normal.
forced or like weird or
Yeah.
you know, it was just like normal.
So next month is my pick. And I'll probably announce it next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
What are we doing next week? Besides hearing what
Oh,
my pick is.
is next week a new month?
No,
Oh,
it's the second to the last day of September. It's 29th.
oh, I don't know.
I don't think we know.
We
I don't
know.
think we didn't do a new books this month, did we?
We did.
Yeah, you did. Beginning of the month.
It is a long month. Well, we'll
It's a long
find
month.
something cool to
We'll-
do.
Yeah.
We'll be here.
Surprise.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
tune in next week to find out what our next book of the month will be.
For the
and
end of October.
For the end of
Yep.
October.
Well, thank you all for tuning in today. Hopefully you are adding The Guide by Peter Heller to your to-read list. And of course, you can always keep commenting, even if you're not able to catch us live on here. Or you can reach out to our email, which is questions@siouxcitylibrary.org. Otherwise, we'll be back next week,
See you
Thursday
then.
at 3:30. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.